Welcome, everybody. I have a very special guest, Purnima Nath. She's an American Hindu Indian, and she is an author, an entrepreneur, and founder of iExit, which is a grassroots movement to help Indians exit the leftist liberals and embrace conservative values and principles. And she's just amazing. She's doing so much work for the elections and getting the truth out about how corrupt the Democrats are and Joe Biden. And she is just so amazing and just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm so glad to be joining with her. And we're going to be talking about the elections and hopefully any Indian Americans or Americans out there that are voting for Joe Biden and any of the Democrats, maybe we can change your perception about them. So welcome so much, Purnima. Nice to have you. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you so much, Renee. It's absolutely a pleasure and honor to have an opportunity to connect with you.
Oh, you too. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to connect with you. So my big concern is mail-in ballots with the coronavirus, and a lot of Democratic states want to do the mail-in ballots. So my biggest fear is fraud, because every day I'm hearing about mail-in ballots for Trump, like the military. They're thrown off the streets, they're thrown in rivers, and this is very scary. So I want to know what your opinion is. Do you think that it's going to cause a lot of problems, or what's your take on that?
Renee, here is my blunt answer for this. We have seen for the last few months that people were free to go and do rioting. There was no restriction on how many people could go and do rioting. I'm not specifically saying it as a protest, because these were not protests, these were riots. Arson was provided, supplies were provided to go around and vandalize places and loot places and things like that. So these were well organized and orchestrated project that were getting executed, unfortunately. So when there are things like that, when you see people are going out and doing riots, why can't they go and do vote? That's my first impression on that. If they say you are going to have a mail-in ballot only and there is no in-person vote, I want to reject that kind of notion, because obviously, as you rightly pointed out, there's tremendous amount of voter fraud going to happen on that, and there's no accountability. You are not going to know whether your vote is going to get counted or not. How are you going to track this? So, and there's not enough human capital out there, or
Yes.
people places in there in terms of project management of that particular section. So I'm worried about how it's going to be managed, because I have in the past also seen how they count, vote, and etc. like that. There is a tremendous
Oh, okay.
possibility of voter fraud if you are not paying attention, or if they are completely driven by Democrat party party people, and they have their own agenda to push through. If they see a Trump ballot they're going to throw it out. What are you going to do? There's no accountability,
Yeah.
there's no camera per se to make sure that there is no fraudulent activity goes on. So there's tremendous amount of openings for fraud to happen in here.
Now, when they get the ballots, I'm not sure they put them in some type of like vaulted room. Is that correct? Or when do they literally start counting on November 3rd and they're in a vote? Because my biggest concern is, let's just say New York. Well, we all know Governor Cuomo hates Trump with a passion. How do you know that the votes coming in the mail, if they're going to be secure. Do they have security guards there? Like, what do you, would you, what's the process for that? That's what's really scary.
It is scary. It's actually not written out, or we don't know exactly what's the process should be. It's constantly changing. They're doing whatever they want to do. So there's no trust in the process at this point. Now, you see, I'm in Milwaukee. This weekend there was a Trump rally in Milwaukee downtown. They canceled it. Milwaukee
Wow.
County executive is a Democrat, and they have canceled Trump rally right here in Milwaukee.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
And,
God.
and so take that as an example and understand from a perspective of counting. If the literally speaking, the volunteers are all Democrat and they would want Biden to win, and that's their bias, there is no oath taking process, so you could do whatever you like, literally speaking. So there is no set process at this point. If you have seen um, news last week, a couple of days ago, they actually passed law in Pennsylvania that 3 days after election, if they find a ballot, they can count. And there is another caveat: it does not even need to have the postmark for the before the election day. Can you believe the amount of voter fraud you are expecting? So
Yes, I know. That's the only thing. Like, I am so afraid of all these states. Now, I know all of the states aren't doing the mail-in. A lot of them you can go to the booth. Do you know, is it only the Democratic states that are doing the mail-in ballots, or how exactly is that? I know like New Jersey, New York are doing it, California. So it's not all the states, correct?
most of the democratic cities and counties are pushing for mail-in ballot, and that's what they are trying to portray. Because of coronavirus, they want to have mail-in ballots, but at the same time, if you take the argument, these people could go in the streets and bang the door of a business, and there was no restriction of how many people could gather and etc. There was no permit taking ability for it, and these guys could protest anywhere, anytime, at any given point of time. The county could cancel a Trump rally because it's a rally, but they can't even cancel a riot. So
Yes.
right. So you could ask, I mean, is there a process for taking permission for protest and riots? Why
Mhm.
aren't there? So I mean, I think what's happening, to answer your question, right now every democratic cities, counties and states are pushing this mail-in ballot.
Mhm.
I call it as a conspiracy at this point, because there's a tremendous amount of voter fraud that is going to occur, and we have to go with the notion that it is going to cause voter fraud, because we can already see there is no mechanism in the back end to make sure there is not going to be any fraud.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of the electoral votes are coming from Democratic states, right? Like New York, New Jersey, California. So that's like another scary part, being that they're doing that. And I know Trump had taken Governor Murphy to court because he wanted to do the mail-in ballots, but I guess that didn't. I guess that went in favor of Governor Murphy, because we all got our mail-in ballots now for voting. So, and my problem is, we can go in jam-packed Walmart, a food market, and wait in line, go to the self-checkout, but we can't go to a booth and vote. What's the difference? There is no difference. That's why I'm so livid with Governor Murphy, because I want to go to the booth. I like doing that. I don't want to do this mail-in thing. There's no reason why we have to go, do the mail-in. We can't go in the booth when, come on. You
That
go at Walmart, food stores, they're jam-packed. What's the difference?
exactly. The liquor stores are open. Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, these are open. Myers is open. If you can go over there and shop and maintain distances and even wait in line for your turn to come for going into the registers. What is the difference between voting? Now, there is another thing that I also like to have, have people to understand the gravity of the situation. Would you put a $50 bill in a mail right now in USPS post office, a return address to your address and see if the $50 come back to you? Would you have put a little bit of trust on this system right now? And then if you can't, then how do you put a vote, which is your voice? And if you would not trust that system, why would you trust that system for a voting?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Like even like if I won't even send like a gift card or anything in the mail for somebody's birthday, my family, I just don't trust it. And especially these ballots, it's as clear that you can see that it's
Yeah.
some ballot. Now I know they have these separate, like you don't have to put it in the US postal bin. They have um ballots. I mean, the mail slots that are specific for putting your ballots in something separate that they have, not everywhere as, the postal box, but they have them around town. But on that day, I'm going to a polling station
Yeah.
and dropping off my ballot because because right now I really do feel like every ballot is going to really, really matter and make a difference. And especially, I do not trust anything past the Democrats. George Soros. I mean, it was like 2 months ago, they found over 20,000 driver's license that came from overseas. Now, what's up with that? That must be a part of voters fraud. Like, oh, here's their ID. Thank God that the police confiscate them from the airport. I think they came in from Chicago. So it's things like that. It's just, very scary. But I always say, if Trump's got to win by a landslide, so if there is any, let's say voters fraud and they're putting all the, people voting for Joe Biden, then I don't know, correct me if I'm mistaken, then at least there won't be any say if Trump, say, wins by a landslide. And if they do try to, put extra counts in there for Democrats.
We have to understand based on the past track record. What we have seen in the last 4 years is unprecedented in this country. Unfortunately, Hillary Clinton didn't really accept the defeat that she would lose in front of Trump. So it was very difficult for her
Yes.
to accept it. And she didn't accept it. Not only that, she also didn't gracefully exit that path. Okay, now I'm not the president, somebody else is president, let him do the job. If it is my turn, I will do whatever I can do. You have an opportunity to exit with a grace, with class. She didn't show that. What happened post that is every Democratic candidate who lost followed her footstep. You talk about Stacey Abrams and the other guy from Florida, and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So both of them were not conceding. They constantly kept saying that Republicans stole the election, even though
Yes.
these guys won and they were literally in the position doing their work. So there was no grace about it. It's an election. People voted. They have made a choice. You lost. There is a winner and there is a loser. That is how the democratic process must work. But what happened for the last 4 years is there's no class about it. They constantly tried to create coup after coup for framing Donald Trump. So
Yes.
the idea was to dethrone him no matter what, by hook or crook. And everything they have done was wrong, whether it's a Russian collusion, Mueller report, whether it was a Jussie Smollett's fake hate crimes, whether it was Ukraine scandal, which actually they impeached the president. Everything was hoax. So, with that track record, this is what I want you and everybody to also understand. There is going to be voter fraud, and that is the reality. And they are going to try to steal it. How? Because they're going to bring in ballots, they're going to produce ballots without postmarks in there and post the election if they see the count is not in their favor. That is going to happen. It's uh,
Yes, that's a good point that you brought up. But they should have, if it's postmarked after November 3rd, it shouldn't be counted. Do you know if any of them Democrat states are
yes.
abiding by that?
Pennsylvania just made sure that 3 days after they can count, and that the ballot does not need to be postmarked also. So
Oh, okay.
you also, the voter fraud is going to happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like, yeah, what you said earlier, Hillary Clinton cannot get over the fact that she lost against Donald Trump. So she's been on this witch hunt, and I believe she's the one orchestrating all this hatred for Trump and all this impeachment and Russia hoax and everything else. It just won't stop. I mean, this woman is really, really evil and vicious. And I just blows me away that people actually like her and they think that she's so innocent. And look at all the billions of dollars they spent on all these things to try to get Donald Trump out of office. And they can't see the Democrats. They're not working, they're not doing their job. They had one thing on their mind for the last 4 years, and that's like, what can we think of to get rid of Donald Trump? And they don't even put the American people first. It's all about hate and revenge. And a lot of it is orchestrated by, I call her Killary, because that's what she is. I call her Killary because she is just all and just an evil person. And also, I wanted to mention to you social media. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook and Jack Dorsey from Twitter, they are interfering in the election, especially what happened with the Hunter Biden. And I think it was a former FBI agent, and the New York Post wrote a story. Well, if it was a story about Donald Trump's taxes and the New York Post put it there without any evidence, it's fine, it can stay. But because it was Hunter Biden, it was interfering with, Joe Biden's election. Twitter takes it down, Facebook takes it down. Now they were subpoenaed and they're supposed to go before the Senate this week. I'm not sure if it's Thursday or Friday, but do you think stuff like that can change people's perception about, like, let's say people that are undecided if they're going to vote for Biden or they're going to vote for Trump? Do you think that by Facebook and Twitter, interfering, do you think that it could really go in their favor or against their favor?
So it all depends on the person. Now, if the person is really looking for truth, like you and I, and for folks like us who's actually trying to dig in the truth and understand what really is going on and understand the crux of the events,
Mhm.
then these events like what Facebook and Twitter are doing is going to create a negative effect for Biden. But if somebody wants to jump on a bandwagon kind of person, like, if you tell me to vote for Biden because I'm your friend and you are my friend, without knowing anything, I'll vote blindly for
Mhm.
Biden. In that case, people are not really looking for the truth. They're not really looking and researching, trying to understand what exactly Biden is going to is supporting, or what exactly Kamala Harris, who exactly Kamala Harris is, or what Trump
Yes.
has accomplished. So it all depends on the personality also at the end of the day. But in reality, I'll tell you, it's a bitter truth. The truth is the most of the people don't have time to do research. That's why we turn on TV. That's why we turn on certain, we look at certain newspaper. Now if we open NYT or WAPO, and all the time we see only one constant message, that Donald Trump is racist and xenophobic and Islamophobic, I don't have the time to research. What am I going to do? I would trust
Yes.
that these news media is giving me information for my understanding. So I'll make a opinion based on what I saw in those media outlet, without judging that these media outlets are actually biased, right? If you are voting, the vote is yours. It's not the media's, it's not the media outlets, it's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans. It's your vote. You are the responsible entity to do research to figure out what floats your boat. So it could go
Yes.
either way. Now if Twitter and Facebook constantly hides the reality and facts, and people like us see, and we are talking about it, but at the end of the day Twitter and Facebook shuts us down too. They are cleaning the path to make sure that all this negative news about Biden doesn't reach to anybody who does not know how to research.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know about you, but I really only watch Fox News. I think they're the most least biased. I mean, they have a lot of people on there, they're Democrats and, Republicans. But you're right. If I were to sit here and only listen to, like, say, CNN, I would hate Trump by the end of the week. I would literally hate him because CNN, they are disgusting and despicable. They never once ever say any good accomplishment about Trump. Even when he was nominated the what is it, the Peace Prize?
Yep.
Nothing. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about, how he's doing advancement with the coronavirus and trying to find a vaccination and all this great work. All they do is ridicule him, and they say horrible things. And if you're just listening to CNN, you're going to hate him. I mean, I know people that actually hate him after all the great things. I mean, we had the lowest unemployment in 50 years, jobs, he's bringing back manufacturing. They never talk about, the great things that Trump's doing. With them, it's always doom and gloom. But on the other end, like social media now, like people who are on Facebook and Twitter, like you can see both sides of the picture, because I see what people are saying about Trump from the Democrats, and I see what people are saying about Trump from the Republicans side. So at least on social media, you can have, you can see both sides and both videos, where if you're to just put on like CNN, you know that you're going to only get, a hate messages about Trump. And then that's it, because they really hate Trump with a passion. And it's sad because they're making people hate Trump for no reason at all. They don't even know anything. So that's really the sad part. That's our journalism today, how it got to this level. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what we're seeing exactly is what fascism looks like. What we're seeing exactly how communism takes your voices. That if it doesn't, if your voice, your goals, your direction doesn't align with the big techs and their agenda, they are able to shut you down. It's a scary situation what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I wanted to mention to you, because you heard it many a times. Biden and Kamala Harris said many a times that they're in favor of banning fracking. They want to ban fracking. So on this debate last debate with Trump and Biden, they mentioned that, and Biden, all of a sudden, he wants to come out, to get more votes that, oh, I'm not against it. And Donald Trump said, yes, you did. So then he went to Twitter that after the debate, and he put up and he threw it in Biden's face, and Kalama, look, you've said it over and over, and it went viral. It went like 12 million views and retweets. So that's great on that side of, social media, that people can, and they're like, yeah, he really did say that he wants to ban fracking, not once or twice, but 3 times. So, and they're lying. They're absolutely lying to the American people. They said it so many times. They want to ban fracking, but now the election's coming closer. Then they don't, to try to confuse people. And it's like, you can't see their lies. I mean, they're trying to get votes from the swing states. So what's your opinion on the swing states right now? How do you feel that it's going in favor or Trump or Biden for the certain issues that they're going for?
See, in the swing states, I personally think that Trump is going to win. Why? It is because even for Wisconsin, there are 2 major counties, Dane County, which is where Madison is, and Milwaukee County, which is the city of Milwaukee, is majorly Democratic, highly blue areas.
Really?
They are not going to vote for Trump. And that's where I ran for county executive. If it was my place, if I won that election today, Trump rally would not have been stopped over here. These are kind of the corruption that need to fight against. Of course, these are blue areas. If you look at the other areas other than Dane County and Milwaukee County, it's Trump is going to win, and that's the given point for me. I think these are more rural areas where Trump makes sense in terms of what you're going to do for farmers. I mean, Wisconsin, it's all about farming, right? So you have to take care of the people who are in the rural area. The taxes over here is through the roof. We have one
Really?
top 5 most highest taxed property taxed in Milwaukee County.
Wow.
And this, it doesn't even there is no end to it. The state representative who's running in the area that I live in, she's even running on increasing death tax. Imagine about this, that after you're dead, you're going to pay more on death tax. What are they doing? What are they doing? These human life don't have any value. And they are the one who literally screaming about human rights and gay rights, and they're the one who are trying to kill babies there. And then property tax is already going up. The last increment of the tax that happened in the April election, the spring election, put an $89 million increment on tax for the public school. Constantly they're increasing tax, and the massive amount of it is going to the public school system. So the entire system is messed up right now, and we in the middle, we are the people who are getting screwed up at this point. And this is the plan at the end of the day for any Democratic party. They are elite class. They are going to be having private security. They're going to have massive mansions. They're going to have all kinds of privileges that you can think of. We are the people who are paying for it. We are going to be paying for it. So unfortunately speaking, we are dealing with that corruption that we have seen in the third world country happening right here in America. And it's happening through the leftist Democrat Party. It's very sad moment.
Actually. Yeah, and I want to bring up a point, because you're talking about, they're the ones, they're in these $10-15 million mansions, right? But yet these Democrats are for defunding the police, right? These people are hypocrites. But here if they, like that one celebrity, Alanis Milani, I can't remember her name, Milano or something. She was with the star from Who's the Boss years ago. She ended up having to call the police or something. So everybody was calling her a hypocrite. So if something happens to these celebrities and then here they are calling the police for protection, but yet they're out there and they want to defund the police. And here you have Nancy Pelosi in her $9-10 million mansion with all her security around there. Well, you want to defund the police, so we don't have protection or something happens, but you're nice, safe and sound in your mansion with security guards all around, and you want to defund the police, but you're protected. And people can't see that. Like, hello, you can't see that these Democrats in their mansions and their extra security and protection, they're well secured, but they want to defund the police. So if someone has a gun and they're coming in your house, well, sorry, we'll get back to you in 5 days with a social worker. I mean, nothing the Democrats do is logical, and it doesn't make sense, anything that they do. So it blows my mind that people can even vote for these fools like Ilhan Omar, AOC, all these crazy people, Nancy Pelosi. It just blows my mind. Are they really that stupid, or are they just like, I don't know. It's just crazy.
I think there is more to it, and you and I, we can say it doesn't make sense, but from their angle, it perfectly makes sense. I'll tell you why. Yesterday, I got a call from Priyanka Bharadwaj. I don't know her. She called me to make sure that I vote for Biden and Kamala. And I asked her details. So her details was, she is a third-year student in University of Wisconsin in Green Bay, and she's an Indian American. These are all details I collected from her. Her parents, her father came here for higher studies 25 years ago. She is 21 years. She is in college. She called me from Planned Parenthood Advocacy Group to make sure that I vote for Biden. Yes. So a few pointers she mentioned. I actually posted about it in Facebook as well yesterday about it. Some of the things that one of the first things she mentioned is Trump is racist and xenophobic and Islamophobic. I asked her, "Are you Hindu? Are you Hindu? And are you really Hindu phobic too?" And these are the question I had to debunk her in terms of the fine people on both sides, in terms of Trump didn't denounce white supremacists. Trump denounced probably like 29 times. It has been debunked multiple times. These people don't talk about it. That's besides the point. So the Democratic Party is reusing the same rhetoric again and again, even after they are debunked multiple times. So when I asked her question that why did your father and mother choose to come to this country if this country is racist, she says, this is where it blew my mind away. She mentioned it was not like this. The country became only racist when at the time of 2016 presidential election, when Trump won and started pushing about Islamophobia. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you really kidding? And I took 45 minutes to lecture her, and she finally got very frustrated and then hung up the phone at the end of 45 minutes. But here is what is happening. These kids, these young minds are in school and colleges. They're getting indoctrinated. She was passionate about Planned Parenthood. The entire discussion had nothing to do with Planned Parenthood. It was all about hatred of Trump. I finally told her, look, you vote for whoever you want to vote for, but please do not spread misinformation and lies and deception. And then I also asked her if Planned Parenthood is a political organization or a healthcare organization. She said, oh, it's a state, it's a both. It's a service organization as well as political organization. So think about it. An organization, a non-profit status, getting 600 million plus from the federal government, then These organization then have a political wing trying to persuade people like us, normal people, to vote for certain candidates that they want. Just,
Oh,
just for a moment, just think about it. What is happening? It's a non-profit organization. You get federal funding, 600 million last year plus, and then out of that funding, you carved out a political organization that you are putting college students like that who are actually trying to promote your agenda of whoever your favorite candidates are. How is it even fair?
oh my God. Wow, that's incredible.
How is it fair? So where is the, you're talking about fairness, you're talking about logic, you're talking about a non-hypocrite situation. We are living in a hypocrisy right now. Everything is hypocrisy right now. So a organization which is a non-political, how can they have a political wing? This organization, they call themselves as a healthcare organization. If they're healthcare organization, how are they even talking about supporting a particular candidate? That's
Yeah, exactly.
so I don't understand what is happening in United States. But when you talk about how these people are thinking from their point of view, they're right. There's this girl, Indian American brown girl, 21-year-old, born in this country, never got discriminated because of her skin color. Today, she has the audacity to tell me, as a brown girl, that she's afraid that she's going to get attacked. 3 years she's
Wow.
in a college, she never got attacked, but today she feels that she's going to get attacked. Based on what? Based on the fear they
Yeah.
told her. So this is perfect for her. She's saying that I want a better world for my children. I told her, you don't even have a children right now. What world are you creating today? The promotion you're doing today, you are creating a world of criminals in the streets who are going to be saved because of Democrat policies. Criminals on the streets, they're rioting. These are the policies you are supporting. She is part of BLM. She mentioned that she was part of BLM protests, so she is seeing that she wants to be
Wow.
BLM. So I tried to lecture her, and I told her, you don't even have a child today, but you want to create a better world for your child. Today, at this present moment, you are creating a world that is for criminals, not for normal people like us.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
reason I'm saying to you this, unfortunately for them, it looks like they are in the right side. We are the wrong side. They have been
Yeah, you're
heavily
right.
brainwashed by and indoctrinated by education system of this country. And just a few years ago, I went back for my master's in a top
Mhm.
college of this country.
Wow.
It was heartbreaking for me to say that sometimes I was unable to express because I was a Trump supporter
Mm-hmm.
in the class. So when you talk about how they thought, for them it's perfect. That's what they feel. They're feeling. They think the future is future. They're creating a better world, but they're forgetting what they're doing today is they're already destroying the country. There is not going to be a future for them to work on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. These universities today, these kids are getting a very liberal education. They're taking out the history, they're taking out the heritage. The same thing what is happening in India, with the youth there. I mean, they're doing the same thing here, and they're ingraining in these people, like what you said earlier, that Trump is a racist, he's tearing up the country, but they don't know. Go back when Obama was our president, right? He didn't do anything for the Black community. Trump done way more for the Black with economy and everything, and the crime drop. With him, it was just horrendous because they're only taught, like what you said, what they want to feed them to beliefs, And also, you had mentioned the Black Lives Matter. I mean, these people are in Black Lives Matter, and they're out and they're rioting and killing people and harming people and knocking down business. But yet, you talk about that you want unity, right, in our country, that we're racist and that Trump's a white supremacist, but you're supporting a Marxist group that is causing all this violence and chaos. I mean, to me, it's just they're a bunch of like hypocrites. And from what I learned from Black Lives Matters was started by two Black women. I can't remember, it was 2014 or 17. I might be wrong. Maybe you might know the exact year. And one of the ladies, the leader, she was in prison. I think it was for murder. And then she got out, and that's how they started the whole movement. But George Soros is pumping in money to start all these riots, just like when Trump went to India for Namaste Trump. All them riots that broke out were paid for by George Soros. This is his propaganda against the nationalists, against the Republicans, and he's doing it here because they thought that it would hurt Trump of getting reelected again by causing this chaos and riots. And everybody's going to say, it's Trump's fault, it's Trump's fault. But a lot of it end up backfiring on them. Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out, oh, calm it down, calm it down. These people are a bunch of hypocrites.
Absolutely. I mean, the BLM, you were close. I think it was start somewhere in the middle of 2013 or something. And it's a propaganda machine. Petrus Colors, one of the co-founder of BLM, her tapes was found, and it was said that it's a Marxist organization. Their goal is actually to oust Trump from the seat. If that's your goal, how is it BLM? And when you go to the site and you try to donate, it goes to Act Blue. Act Blue is a political pact, and the money is funding to the Democratic candidate. It's a political.
Oh my God.
And how do you answer this question in terms of Black Lives Matter is actually Black Lives Matter? The slogan is completely different from their own agenda, which is a Marxist agenda. They're using all this, whether it's a race war, BLM, Antifa, to push political reforms. That's all it is. And they're thinking that they are right. They think that people like us most of the people are obviously don't have the time nor the inclination to do research. So, but some people like us, you and I, who are into it and want to know a little bit more than what we are seeing in the surface, who totally understand exactly the entire idea of BLM, the riots, was to make sure there is enough chaos in there so Democrats can take the rhetoric and say that, oh, look, Trump is to be blamed. But at the end of the day, wherever these riots are happening, they're all democratic states. They're all ruled by democratic leaders. So how do you blame Trump when Trump is ready to take care of it? When he himself said, I'm ready to send you troops, but they're not willing to.
Yeah, exactly.
Portland doesn't. Seattle doesn't. So you are creating shahs and chop zones, and where you are actually yourself killing the black guys out there. And so you talk about Black Lives Matter. No, it's, as you said, rightfully, it is hypocritical. We're living in a hypocritical situation. So you can't expect logic from them. You can't expect, okay, why are they thinking like that? Because they have been heavily brainwashed in the educational system. If you look at media right now, you will see 2-year, 3-year-old holding BLM sign. What do they understand in terms of BLM? You tell me. I have 2 children myself.
Yeah.
They're almost teenager. One of them is almost teenager. The another is teenager. They themselves work, act crazy. What do they understand anything about politics? You put a BLM sign on a 2-year, 1-year-old hand, and they're taking a picture. These are all show.
Yeah, I know. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you absolutely nailed it. I know. It's just like what you said with all the riots. It's only in Democratic states. They want to make everybody think that Trump is doing it, right? But they won't talk about no other president has done what Trump has done with peace in the Middle East. This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, I think I'm not sure. I know he had three. I'm not sure he was nominated for a fourth peace prize, and now he made peace. I think it was with Israel and Sudan.
UAE, a part of it as well. And I believe a couple of others also in line. Saudi Arabia is in line, I believe. And Bahrain was also part of it.
Yeah, like he's doing all this peace around the world. So why would he be a white supremacist when all these riots, all this chaos, all this violence? I mean, no other president has got all these peace prizes. No other president had made other countries that hated each other for years bring so much unity together. It's just like now there's another issue. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but Trump did a fourth 1.8 million arms deal with Taiwan, and now China is saying recently, I don't know, just a day or two ago, that Trump broke policies. I don't know if that's true, but Trump did it anyway, you know, supplying arms to Taiwan, and now Modi ji is joining in with Taiwan. So China said that they're going to counterattack, you know, America because Trump is giving arms deals to Taiwan. So I guess in the interim, it gives Taiwan more separation from China. Would that be correct?
Well, India do support Taiwan, and as you know, Tibet, Taiwan, Hong Kong, they are trying to separate from Chinese aggression and imperialistic design. So we are going to see this coming again and again. As you see, obviously, India is very tactfully and strategically able to manage and defend her border because of Modi ji. Before that, nothing happened. Before Modi came into seat, Indian borders were under attack by Chinese aggression, and the place that I'm from, the Northeast, on the top border has been, they're constantly encroaching. So it had been a tremendous issue for India itself for a while. So now, obviously, India supports Taiwan because Taiwan, we call it as it's a separate country, right?
Yes.
Pretty soon, I'm very confident. Pretty soon, these are all going to break. All these, China is going to be literally breaking into parts. Tibet is one, Taiwan is one. And I haven't seen the deal that you talked about, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. If Trump does do support Taiwan through the arms deal, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'll tell you one thing, Trump is the only president in this country strong enough to face Chinese aggression in the world. And Chinese aggression is not just issue for United States or India. It has been an issue for Taiwan. It has been an issue for in Hong Kong. It has been an issue in Sri Lanka. And as you know, China has literally taken over Pakistan, and now in tremendous leftist communist Maoist influence in Nepal. So we have Chinese aggression in the world. They want to be the superpower. America only can help themselves if Trump comes back again, because he's the only person strong enough to face this. Biden is weak. He has been already bought out by China. He cannot do anything. His son has already made $1.45 billion deals with Bank of China. So you see all this corruption and serious international, even national security issue for America. And unfortunately, the young kids, the college going kids, And also I see our, well educated democratic leftist people don't understand the national security America is facing at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually Trump does this deal. So India is already with Taiwan. So I think it's going to
Yes.
be good. This is the start. You are seeing that over next few years or so, China is going to start to become weakened, and that only can happen if Trump comes back in his second term.
Oh yeah, China definitely wants Biden to win because you're right. He is sold out to China, and we are going to be in really big trouble if Biden wins, which I don't believe he's going to win, but that's what China is banking on.
Yeah, God forbid. I hope that bad luck and the fate of destruction doesn't fall on America as of yet. I think at least if Trump comes, it's not only just national um, safety and security that he's working on for the last 4 years is going to be emboldening him to take it to the next level. And we are going to make sure it's not just that, right? We are seeing the open border issue, the sanctuary city issues that's cropping up in democratic cities. That's going to be also carved out. The immigration issue, the refugee issue that we are seeing here, that's also, we from an immigration perspective also, the country can see reforms happening. That only is possible if Trump comes, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. And he's the only president that's got guts to just go in and do what he has done. No other presidents have guts. So you're right. We need Trump in there. And also, too, we got to lock up Hillary. We got to lock up Obama. We got to lock up these people. I mean, we need Trump another 4 years because he's got a lot of work to do. And he's the only one that could do the job because he's for the American people and he just loves our country so much. So I just wanted to ask you one last question. I have a lot of followers on my Facebook and Twitter that are Indian American, and Modi and Trump's friendship has been really strong and tight recently, and India and the USA are very good together. So do you have like any final message to tell, the Indian Americans, or maybe just anyone in general, but really, or you want to separate the questions, but I have a lot of Indian Americans on my social media, and some of them are going for Biden. Either they're born here or their family, or they came over here from India. That why do you think that they should vote for Trump over Biden, and how would that affect India in the long run if Trump were to win?
Right, right. Wonderful question. Thank you for asking. So here is what I say. So if you are a Indian American, regardless of your faith, regardless of how and why you came to this country and you are voting here, your first priority should be America. I want you to be clear about it, and that's my stand. This is my country right now. I'm a citizen of America. So America is my first priority. I will do what best is for America. That's first. Number two, if you're Indian American, regardless of your faith or so, your roots are still in India. Your family, your relatives are still over there. Probably you were born there, you had house there, your parents were there, etc., etc., etc. Think about from a perspective of what is it that binding United States and India. India and United States are natural partners and allies. Why? Because we are both democratic country. One is the oldest democracy, one is the largest democracy. What India has, America does not have. For example, India has the human capital, the youth. America does not have. India has 1.38 billion people, of most of them know how to speak English. You want to do business, you don't have to learn Mandarin. You don't have to learn XYZ. You don't have to learn English. You could do well over there and actually establish business there with English speaking people. Of course, there might be some slangs or something, but that's fixable. You don't have to learn a completely new language to start doing business there, right? That's one. Number two is these two countries have the same kind of threats. In India, we as Hindus have gone through thousands of years of invasion and oppressors coming over, taking over our religion, our culture, our heritage, our history. What's happening in America today? Ilhan Omar declared she wants to dismantle America. What does it mean? She wants to establish Sharia. She came from Somalia. That's where Sharia is. If she loves her country so much, she must go back over there, shouldn't she? She wants to establish Sharia and dismantle this country and establish communism and Sharia. What happens at the end of the day? Sharia takes over communism. They work together initially and then dismantle the entire system, and then they establish Sharia later on. That's what happens. And we in India, we have gone through this. We had 74 years of independence, but it was ruled mostly by Congress. It was ruled mostly by left-leaning CPIM, who were talking about communism, talking about classless society. Look at what happened today. We have poverty level of 68 to 70%. By World Bank's definition, poverty definition is under $2 a day. So you're talking about a country who was ruled by the same ideology, the communist and Islamist, and we have almost 70% of poverty. Why couldn't they have erased poverty in our country for 70 years? I'll tell you the answer. You don't even have to scratch your head. The answer is because communism is like that. At the end of the day, it is by design. They won't let you become financially independent. They won't let you become free, seek freedom. And that's how the elite system works. You have seen corruption in India. That same corruption is right now here, happening right in front of our eyes. Twitter, Facebook, Google, or the big techs, farmers, it's happening right here. So to answer your question, the first point is, if you're Indian American, why would you not vote for Trump when this person loves this country? This person also aligns with India. And Trump is the first president, by the way, who stood with India.
Yes.
And all the previous president, whether it's George Bush or the Clinton, Obama, they all supported Pakistan. And what has been Pakistan? Been a sore point of India's sovereignty from the beginning of its creation. Their goal is to make sure that India does not become powerful, India does not become resourceful, and constantly when they are fighting against each other, what happens at the end of the day? You stay poor. Your resources are with defending the border. Today, as a country, India not only suffering on coronavirus issues, but also border issues with Chinese aggression. We are also dealing with issues like break India forces within India, trying to break it apart.
Yeah.
Right? Muslim League's job is done. It was to create Pakistan in 1947. They got what they wanted. Why do we still have Aligarh Muslim University, Jamia Millia? Why do we have Muslim universities in our country, in India? Look, Biden said he wants to teach Islam in the schools over here. Biden said the day one he's going to increase 700% refugee over here. Biden also stood with Pakistan. He was awarded Hilal-e-Pakistan, the highest civilian award of the
Wow.
country. Biden also said that the moment he becomes president, he'll take the Kashmir issue. Kashmir is Indian sovereignty. It's part of India. India has all the authority to do whatever they want to do with that part of the land. Who is Biden to talk about it? Who is even Trump to talk about it? Trump didn't talk about it. That is why Trump didn't talk about it. He said specifically, if Modi and the country wants, then he will interject. Otherwise, he is not going to interfere in the sovereign
Right.
country's decision. So let me give you an example. A few months ago, Brunei, the country, passed a bill to stone gays. You tell me, you find me one human rights activist who stood against that and passed a resolution against Brunei? Find me and tell me, send it to me. I'd like to see that. Every single day we have human rights violation in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. There is no single resolution against them, but we have anti-CA resolution against India. So when you talk about Biden also, as a senator, stopped cryogenic space technology with the deal with Russia. He stopped from India to get the deal with Russia. So what happened? India has the technology now, doesn't it? Did it need United States? No. So answer this question to yourself. India is absolutely self-sufficient. She doesn't need America. I'm telling you right now, India does not need America at this point. 50 years ago, this was different. 20 years ago, it was a different thing. But today, with Modi and capability that he has brought to the country, India does not need any assistance of America. I'm telling you right now. At the same time, India is self-sufficient. She can defend herself. All right. So we, as an Indian American, we don't need to do anything for India. Forget about India right now. But think about America. What do you want here? Do you want the same type of corruption from what we saw in Indian sovereign country happening over here? This was the better country. That's why we came here, for better life, better education, cars, houses, and etc. Every Indian family lives in a better house. Every Indian family sends their kids to a better private school. Every Indian family have multiple cars. You tell me the same family has a completely different outlook in India. So when you think about Biden, you have to cross off, you have to figure out what he has done for India in the past. He has been sitting in the position for 47 years. What did he do for India?
Yes.
So cross it to in my conversation with you today. I want to make sure your followers also know that you can literally cross off Biden's name from top to bottom. He hasn't done anything for India, so he will not do anything for India going forward with these evidences. Now come to Kamala Harris. She is one day South Asian American. She never said she is Indian American. She's a baptized Christian someday. She's a Jamaican someday. She's a Chinese. Do you know she even picked this Chinese name? Hey Jingli, something like that. So yeah, a few years ago, she adopted a Chinese name for Chinese vote. So this woman
Wow.
do anything for votes. This is no
Yes.
different from a congressee coming and asking for a vote in India. That has been the trend for years and years and years. So unfortunately, if you look at Kamala, even if you take off everything else, what has she done for Indian American? The answer is zero. What has she done for Jamaican American? Answer is zero. What has she done for America? Answer is zero. She took the same crime bill that Biden wrote in 1994 and she implemented it to lock up more Black lives. Now she tweets, she talks about she's a Black American. So you have to put a corrupted person. Please go do vote for Biden and Kamala and see exactly how your life changes in terms of reservation, in terms of quota system. But I am for freedom. I came to this country for freedom and liberty and what America stands for. And if that is my value, I would be voting for Trump, as simple as it is. At the same time, voting for Trump also helps India because our alignments are same, our threats are same, our enemies are same, our issues we internally are same. Islamic terrorism we didn't even talk about, but that is a critical issue this country is facing today. Our country has faced it for thousands of years. So you can literally do a parallel comparison in terms of America and India, why they are similar, the issues that we face are
Yes.
similar. So if you put a weak president like Biden in there, your lives, your freedom is going to go away. And taxes, let's talk about taxes for a second. 62% on taxes for people like us. That's unimaginable. That's happening in California. People can't live in there. The beggars are,
Yes.
if you walk in San Francisco, one day I was eating in a restaurant right on downtown. A beggar came and pulled my food, the plate. I got so scared and ran away back
Oh my
back of the
God.
the restaurant. This is a real story I'm telling you. The beggars are right in front. That is what happens in communism. California is the heaven for communism. You want California in America, you won't be able to live in your house because you don't know who's going to come and shoot you next time. You won't have the Second Amendment, you won't have a gun, you won't have the ability to have a gun. The beggars or the criminals are going to rule you. The streets are going to be crime filled. Your kids, your daughters are going to be picked up and raped and thrown off the street. And this is something that we have seen. We are seeing this in countries like Pakistan today. As a Hindu, you have no voices. Is that what you want in this country? If that's your goal, please go do vote for Biden and Kamala. But if that is not your goal and you are afraid of what they could do to this country, to us, to normal people, go and vote for Trump, because Trump has a vision. His vision is America first. He's going to reform immigration. He's already doing so. He's securing the border. He's also very strong on trade, and nobody is able to take advantage of the country. You don't have to so much worry about what his hair color is or how he speaks or what his tone is. You don't have to like that. But look at
Yeah.
the action. His action speaks much louder than any words he even speaks. He's like a rock outside, but internally he understands. He even sits in the flight for at 2 o'clock to welcome a dead soldier. So you have to understand what this man has gone through for last 4 years. Media has defamed him. I think he should file a lawsuit against those media, just like Nick Sandman
Yes.
did, and he won 250 million plus on Washington Post and CNN for defamation case. I think Trump should do it, but at the end of the day, because he is a public figure, he is unable to pursue a lawsuit against them. That's why Nick Sandman was able to do it. So, long story short, you know exactly as an Indian American what you have gone through in India. The corruption, it doesn't allow you to do anything. Even to pay a bill, you have to pay somebody, you have to bribe somebody. This is exactly what is coming over here. In California, they're pushing for quota system, reservation system, and that's going to hurt you, the Indian kids, the smartest kids who's working hard at home and overworking homeworks and etc., pushing themselves to do well. It's going to hurt you and your kids. So feel free to vote for Biden and Kamala if you choose so, if you are that dumb and that ignorant. But if you are for this country, if you are for truth, if you are also for hard work, then Trump is your guy.
Wow, that was excellent. Excellent. I couldn't have put it any better. I never heard anybody say it any better than you. Excellent points, like completely right on, very knowledgeable. So I hope you Joe Biden, Kamala Harris supporters out there, I hope you listen to Purnima. you know, she's a wealth of knowledge and she's just amazing. And I hope you vote for Trump and save our country. And it was so awesome. I'm so glad I had a chance to chat with you. You really are amazing. And your points are so dead on, and your knowledge. And everybody who's listening, please follow her. She's on Facebook and Twitter. I think, is that your Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter is Purnima Nath. Yes.
She's amazing. You don't want to miss out on any of her posts and tweets. She's just awesome. And it was great talking to you. So let's see, I can't believe the election is right around the corner. So let's keep our fingers crossed. There's not that much fraud, and then we'll see what happens.
Hey, Dashera is today, so you know we have to wish Dashera, and Dashera's meaning is good over evil, light over dark.
Yeah.
And also, so it's actually very, very auspicious day for we Hindus, and we know Trump is the savior of this country. If Trump doesn't come, we're talking about straight communism and of course Islamism, which is going to impact literally everybody. You and I will not be able to speak anymore. It's going to be like a street of China where the walls have ears too. You will not be able to say a single word. I went to Hong Kong not too long ago. Nobody would speak a single word against Chinese oppression. And I tried to spare out many times to understand exactly what is going on. Tell me, nobody zipped. It literally zipped. One girl told me that even walls have ears. And that's true.
Wow.
That's true. That is the country we are expecting if Joe Biden comes. Trust me on
Yeah,
this.
Trump's our
Blindly trust
savior.
others and blindly vote for Trump at this point. That is the grave danger this country is going through right now.
Yes, ain't that the truth? That's the truth. Thank you so much. It was so awesome talking to you. Until we meet again next time. Thank you everybody for watching this program. And don't forget to follow her. She's just awesome. So till next time. Bye everybody. Ram Ram.
Ram Ram. Thank you so much.
Oh,